Hello, Working Mommy Manual listeners.
Hello, that's Nicole Corning.
That's Kathleen Wilson.
And we're here to keep it real.
We are.
Actually, I'm going to be at a work panel next week, and we can't disclose where we're working, so I'll try not to say it. But they said, give something interesting about yourself. And I said, I co-host the
podcast?
Yes, the Working Mommy's Manual.
Girl, you're going to blow it up in St. Louis?
And I said, we keep it real.
All right.
And then I said, we talk about work. We talk about home and family balance. And then I reread the sentence. I had already hit send. And then she replied, I go, I mean work and life balance. You see how that's working for me.
Bam. So today, now usually we're like kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like you're fun.
Yes. And I have to tell you, so I started listening to our other podcast. I think it's Parenting Ain't Easy.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's it's a hard, you're just now getting to the part where we're getting real about I lost my mom, and we're talking about life, and just, it's really interesting. So
Was it like more somber?
Yes. Well, I haven't got to the somber part yet, so we'll see how it flows.
So wait, what's happened so far?
We really talk about lessons we've learned from our parents.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yes.
I like that. So that's a nice tie-in, because we want to talk about what I think has been kind of like this almost epidemic or it's been a shift culturally. Right. It used to be like, suck it up and make it work, grin and bear it. But now there's been this culture of if things are not working with your parents and they are totally dysfunctional, like, guess what? You get to just peace out, which I think is a new thing. And I have not experienced it as a child necessarily with a parent, because I think as like oldest daughters, you're just like that's the lot you're given in life. Like you're going to take care of your parents.
But we also grew up in a time where this is life. You deal with it.
Right. And if your parents use some use the belt, use the brush, were inappropriate, had to be reminded they even had children at 10 o'clock.
I know. I love that.
Do you know where your children are? Because when the TV turned off,
yes.
And so that was how we grew up.
I mean, if you really think about that, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
By the way, they didn't.
No.
They didn't. News,
that's why we were out in the woods.
Spoiler alert, they didn't know where their goddamn children were.
But we were out in the woods drinking.
We were dying of alcohol poisoning in a field somewhere.
Yep.
No, do you
Those
know,
are true stories.
Okay, I remember in high school, someone had a legit stick of dynamite.
Oh my gosh.
A stick of dynamite. And we went to a field, we had all been drinking, and someone turned it on, lit it, threw it, and we're all running away. And I've never felt this before. And I'm sure people in Kiev, Ukraine have felt it, but it goes through your body.
Oh, when it booms.
Yeah. And it pushed me forward. It was
oh my gosh.
Every cell in my body. I was anyway,
was it 10:01? You should have been home a minute ago.
It was 10:01. My parents were I don't know where my daughter is. Maybe she's setting off dynamite wasted on Boone's farm or Bacardi Breezers.
Yes. Anyway.
So that was our childhood.
Yes.
We were very our boundaries are pretty loosey-goosey with our parents, right? Mm-hmm. But there's been this kind of movement with the younger generation of hey, if you haven't been helpful to me as a parent, if you have been less than stellar as a parent, for any number of reasons, I'm going to disassociate from you. And I know a lot of younger folks, and not really people. Well, but you were estranged from your dad,
right? Yes,
and we'll get into that.
Yes.
So I think I want to focus not so much on the estrangement part of it, because I think that happens.
Yes.
But I would want to talk about if you are a parent and you have found yourself in this situation, what are the things that you need to do to kind of get back into a connected phase, or at least set yourself up to be in a connected phase? I want to dig into that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's a bad thing that if someone is truly toxic,
Yes.
You got to cut him out.
No, 100%.
And that was like your dad.
Yes.
You had to cut him out.
Yep.
And but if you just had some misalignment as a parent, like what are the things that you can do to work to get back connected?
Well, and it goes, so you can try. So, and this is really weird. This is popping into my head because I just recently read an article about Brooke Hogan and her father, Hulk Hogan, who passed away. And they had an estranged relationship towards the end. They were totally close their whole entire life. And then I think it was when the mom got divorced. And listen, don't quote me. This is just kind of what I got from it.
I know I saw that. Like he had like an affair with the mom's.
I'm not sure who it was, but he'd been married like basically 3 times.
And here's the thing, you know what?
We're not judging anybody.
It is what it is.
It's like family dynamics. Human. Yeah, it's family dynamics.
But as a kid, you could see where you would be like, well, fuck you, Dad, for doing that.
Exactly.
Right?
And then, and basically what I read from the article, and who knows if it's true or not, but basically it was kind of like he would only be, have a relationship with her if it was on his terms, and she wasn't willing to have those terms and those are called boundaries. They're not called terms; they're called the child's boundaries, or maybe it's a parent's boundary. I think about some of the families out there who have had children that are on, substance abuse, and they've had to set hard boundaries to say, "Look, I've helped you and helped you and helped you. You're not willing to help yourself, and I can't help you anymore."
Okay, with substance abuse, I think you have to both sides. Children and parents have to have hard boundaries. Like I do believe that. Mm-hmm. But I could be totally wrong. Again, it's a parenting podcast and I could be giving terrible parenting advice. But as the parent, I think you have to have more flexibility with your boundaries than your children. Like, because your children are trying to figure it out.
Yes, I do agree with you there.
And so I think you need to as a parent, as a parent, it's like your job is to nurture that child.
Right.
So you need to step back and be like, what does this child need? And when I say child, we're not talking about necessarily like 5-year-olds, right? Because 5-year-olds ain't drawing boundaries.
Nope.
But your 5-year-old had hurt. Mm-hmm. And you might have had hurt as a 5-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're like 50, like us, right? Yep. And so how do you I think as a parent, you need to be like, you know what? I recognize that was a hurt, and I'm going to give that to you. And I'm going to let you like work out whatever you need to work out in the way that you need to work it out to a point. But I just think, and that I could be wrong, but I just think when you're the parent when you're the parent, even if it's an adult child, you have to give the child grace.
Yes.
You've got to, because that child hurt, even if they're adults, that was the 5-year-old them that was hurt.
Right.
And you need to honor it, recognize it, and give it space. Mm-hmm. So you had a unique situation. You had a mom who was like all love and support, but was flawed.
Yes.
And then you had a dad who was just like, flawed? Of like just flawed and like he was not good. He was not a good human.
They did not allow themselves to become young adults before they met each other and fell madly in love with each other, and then had to get married and then have 4 babies like within 4 years. I mean, literally, I think that's kind of how it went. My grandmother, my favorite story my grandmother used to say is that my mom and father would get into a fight, and my mom would call her from one phone, and then my mom would vent to her, and then she would say, put Dan on the other phone. My dad would get on the other line, and then she would be the mediator, and then they would hang up, and she's like, and the next phone call I received was that they were pregnant. And she's like, I stopped helping them get things back together.
Because I didn't want your mom to continue to get knocked up.
Exactly.
So your mom, you and your mom are always close.
Yes.
And when do you think you like kind of forgave her for like challenges that you had?
We had several serious conversations when I was a teenager, like really hard ones. I can't even talk about it on air. But, and she would basically, what drove me nuts is that she was like, basically, I was like, why do you end up with all of these loser men? Like, you are such a good person.
Okay, let me just set the perspective again.
Yes.
So you're the oldest of 5 children from a single mother who left her husband in the middle of the night.
Yes. Well, it was broad daylight, but yeah.
Was it?
It was. It was daylight.
Oh, because your dad was at work.
Yes.
So your mother had stolen the
car keys. and went and had a spare made.
He was, and your dad was, do you want to share?
Yes. Oh, he was just abusive. He was a terrible person.
To everybody.
Yes. Everyone.
To everyone. Like, and not like, you're abusing me.
No.
Like, not whiny
like
bullshit.
It was
like
terrible.
Like bad.
Yeah. And so my mom just said, I did as a teenager, I said, what gave you the strength to get past that? How did you, what made you decide that day to go take the keys? How did you do it? Because he was so like crazy.
Controlling.
Yes.
Because he knew.
Yeah. She said, I just said I had to go to the grocery store. I'm going to the grocery store. I'll be back. And she had the keys made then. And then I still to this day, I was 9 years old, remember every single step of the whole process of what happened.
So lay it out.
And so she just said, I came home. He had gone to work and she's like, Kathleen, here's all these garbage bags. I want you to put the kids' clothes in them. I think there's like 4, like everybody had their own garbage bag of clothes.
Because you're 9.
Yeah.
And like, in charge.
I know.
Great.
So I'm
fantastic.
Like throwing everything in the garbage bags. And we set them by the door. And I said, but Mom, what about our toys? She goes, we can't take our toys. She's like, we'll get different toys later. And I'm like, okay. So we literally walk. And I don't know how long we walked. It just felt like forever. And my youngest sister must have been like, if I was 9, then she was like 3 or 4, 3.5, almost 4. And so we're walking like ducklings behind, like crossing busy bridges to get to my dad's restaurant that he was a manager at. And we took the car. And so we left and thank God they didn't have like Life 360 then. Like I can't even imagine how harder it is today to
because they're like, I'm going to track the phone or we're on the family plan or whatever.
Oh.
No.
So we left and we ended up driving several hours away or whatnot to a women's shelter. And we stayed there, for some time until my mom could figure out what we were going to do. So she called him and she said, listen, the car didn't get stolen, but
the car and the kids and I didn't get stolen. It wasn't an alien invasion.
No, we're out. Peace out.
Bye.
Yeah, so we did. We left, and then we trucked along the countryside up to Washington State where my grandmother lived, and my mom, just worked really hard to get secure a little apartment for us, and that was her way to start her whole life. But one of the things that we had the conversation was, again, when I was a teenager, was, Mom, why do you date these awful men? And
because she continued to date.
She did continue to date. Now, they weren't abusive. They were just verbally, they were just, they were abusive, yes, but not like the physical part of the whole beat downs were done. Like she had a boundary there, thank God. Now it's just verbal or like she gets paid. There's no rent money, there's no electricity. We've got no food. Like it's just a different kind of life. But anyway, I just said, why do you continue to date these men? And she said, because who is going to want me with 5 little kids?
And is that when you saw your mother as a human instead of as a mother?
She's always been so, so strong to me. And I realized that was a weak part of her. And that was a really interesting realization because I was like, in my mind, the whole time that we're living life the way we're living, and I'm like, I'm never doing this. I am never doing this when I grow up. I am never doing this. And you better believe I married the exact opposite man of whoever my mom has ever even talked to in the entire life. Like the most loving, the most secure, the most genuine person.
Dale, again, you are not a fucker.
No.
So
happy 25 years.
Oh, So your mother put a lot on you, at 9.
Oh yeah.
Right? To be the second in command.
Yep.
And then she was working however many jobs to support you and you were the second mom basically. Yes. And so there was a lot that was put on your shoulders that maybe wasn't fair. Mm-hmm. And did you so you had those conversations in your teen years, but did you clearly at some point forgave your mom?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
So when did you forgive your mom?
I guess it was, when I became an adult and,
you're adult at 18.
I know.
So
when I was an adult at 9, really.
So you're when I was 9 years old and I was fully funcking human.
I know. I probably
with a trash bag in my hand and no toys.
I know. I probably was around. I don't know if I think when she was dying, we finally had like a closure conversation.
But you forgave her well before that.
Oh, definitely.
Because you were so close to her.
I still had, and I still hold a little bit of resentment, and I don't know why, and I've tried to let go of it, but it's just.
Oh, do you want me to retell you the first part of the podcast? Because maybe that will help you understand why you had some resentment.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Probably,
like, I'm just saying,
I know.
Like, everyone else is, like, you had a lot of things to be mad at her about.
Right.
But you seemingly like forgave her because
definitely, because I wouldn't help her if I didn't have love and, forgiveness in my heart.
So I love that you said that because I feel like, so my parents were chaotic. Like it wasn't to that level, but there was a lot of chaos and my dad struggled with substance abuse and like by now, like today's standard. And I say you can't judge people from like 40 years ago by today's standards. They were just different, right? So like by today's standards, you'd be like, well, that was scary or that was like, that was abusive.
We didn't have therapy then.
It wasn't.
Like we do now.
And also like my parents are not the same people they were 40 years ago, right? So, So I guess what I'm saying is there's dysfunction, but then when you know that there's dysfunction, but you recognize it's rooted in love, and there are shades of that too.
Right.
So I'm not saying this is like a hard and fast rule, but like you knew your mother loved you. I knew my parents loved me. And so for any dysfunction that we may have experienced, there's a capacity to forgive because you're like, at the end of the day, they did the best they could with the tools that they were given.
Yes.
And they loved me.
Right.
Your dad was a fucker.
Yeah.
So
officially.
So he was an official fucker. And I don't know that your dad, I've never gotten the sense from you that your dad loved anyone more than whatever.
I mean,
I don't even know if he loved himself. Like, I don't know that your dad actually even had the capacity to love.
No, I don't know. I mean,
and I don't know him and he's dead and I'm judging him, but guess what? Like, I get to, you're dead.
Well, I have the stories to back up the crazy, I mean, it's just some of the stuff that you're
dead
through.
And you did bad things to one of my best friends. So fuck you, Kathleen's dad, which I don't even know his name, which is Dan. I guess you said that at the beginning.
But what's really crazy is that there's so many times in his life that he tried to come back into our life. And for a second, my mom would entertain it, but then immediately said no. And so I was really proud for her about that. But I am such an empath, like I feel empathy all the time. I feel even my father, who was the meanest person ever alive, like when he came and he had to come and live with us because he got in a terrible car accident. He almost died, whatever. And so my mom's like, come, we'll get things.
Unfortunate, it was almost.
Yes, right.
Sorry.
And so I felt terrible for him. Like we had no money, we had nothing. And my mom took all four of us out to go do something. My dad's laying on the couch, like watching TV. And my mom took us to the store and she's like, you each can pick out one treat, So we picked out a treat and I'm like, can I get something for dad? She's like, your dad doesn't deserve anything. I go, but if we come home and we have something, I feel like we should have something for him. And she's like, he'll be fine. And I always carry that to this day. I guess it's like a sense of not necessarily secondhand embarrassment, but like, I don't know what the phrase is. I'm sure someone listening to this is being able to articulate better.
They're like screaming at us right now.
But there's a sense of like, I feel bad for people who can't help themselves or who can't move forward. And, I don't know where that stems from, but I always feel like no matter how hard it is, you can, because I've seen it and we've lived it, you can always put one foot in front of the other and move forward to get to where you want to go.
And I think, so it's interesting to me too, when things like this happen in families or you have these like challenging family dynamics, because for me, with my parents, I love my parents, and I spent a lot of time getting to this place, but because it was a very chaotic and toxic at times childhood, but I know that they loved me, and I had this because of that I was able to forgive a lot. But my brother, I have one sibling, and he's a younger brother, and he is like struggling right now with his anger at my parents is frightening. And when he was at my house, and I've wanted to talk to him about this, but I'm like afraid to, because I'm afraid it's going to like trigger him. But but my brother has to know, like I would like literally bury bodies for him. Right. Like and my whole life, like the shit I have done to like, I would do anything for him.
Yes.
But he was at my house just recently with he has a 5-year-old daughter and he has a wife, and they were staying with me, and my parents live here in Arizona. And he had this moment one morning, it was 7:30 in the morning. So I was walking out the door to go to work, and he was so irrationally angry at my mother and for like buying stuff for his child that it affected her. She was across the room. She said something.
Who?
Zoe, his daughter.
Yeah.
And then I looked at him and I walked over and I'm like, you need to knock it off right now, because you are teaching your child how to treat their parent, and she will do this to you.
Right.
So knock it off.
Right.
And also it's like, I'm so sad for him because he's walking around with all of this. And we lived the same childhood.
Right.
And I probably like as the oldest, like got it worse. Right.
Right.
But you know, for us, like in our 40s and 50s, you just kind of dealt with it. And you like, and I think that's what he's doing is he's like carrying on and just like, you know, but it's coming out, and it is so scary.
Well, I mean, it goes
because
back.
it triggered me. His anger felt like my dad's anger.
Oh, yeah.
And that, because I walked out of the house, I was like shaking. I get in my car, I call one of my best friends who I've known since high school. And I was like, and I told her what happened. And she's like, how are you feeling? And I just burst out crying. I'm like, he makes me feel like my dad made me feel.
Right.
And I know that's not what he wants to.
Right.
I know that. And he's not like, so I'm like, I'm back and forth on this whole like epidemic of kids, like younger kids who are like, I'm going to just take a time out from my family or my family dynamic, because I think there's something to be said for like, you can back away from a situation, but you still need to deal with it.
Right.
Like if you haven't done the work to deal with what caused that sadness, that hurt to that little kid part of you,
Right.
that you're going to drag that into your adult life, and then you're just going to repeat the cycle.
That's why it's called a cycle. Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because that's what happens. And, you know, those are important cycles to break. And, obviously I've seen several therapists, but to get through.
I mean, haven't we all? Isn't that what?
I mean, you're just like, what in the world? And I don't know. And they're like, you did what you can do to survive. Like this was your situation. There was nothing wrong that you did. You just had to figure out how to live through it. And then, you know, my whole goal is not to bring that baggage to my family, which I have. I've done it because
we can't help it sometimes.
But the one thing that I do
But if you're not dealing with it at all, you are absolutely bringing it to your children.
Right.
You think you're not.
Right.
You absolutely are.
You do. You don't realize you're doing it, and you do. And so, but one cycle I did break was like not the abuse. Yeah. Not engaging in a relationship with someone who was going to be abusive to me. Yeah. So
and
not verbally or, you know, I know. And it's hard. Like those are, you know, we talk about setting boundaries all the time. You know, I remember when Dale and I were first starting to date, I said to him, you know, I'm not a fighter. You know, I'm not going to yell and scream and go crazy. My mother did that. I'm not going to do that. And I said, I don't like name calling at all, like zero. And he was like, well,
so wait, I shouldn't call him a fucker? That's not good. That's inappropriate. It's not like
he knows we love him though. We say it lovingly.
I love you,
but
Dale.
I know. And so when he said, well, if you're acting like a bitch, I'm going to tell you you're a bitch. And I'm like, you will not, because I will not be there in the next day for you to apologize. Like that is the hard step. That is a hard
stop.
Yes.
Because of what okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to have boundaries. I think it's good to you should be able to step away from a situation that is not serving you.
Right.
But just stepping away from the situation doesn't make it go away or heal it. Mm-mm. So and And so it's interesting. So I wanted to talk about this topic because we both had chaos in our earlier lives. We both had situations we've had to work through and resolve. And there are a lot of people now, like my younger friends who are like, oh, I just don't talk to my mother anymore. Like I don't, and I'm like, and I haven't wanted to what do you say? Like, are you going to see a therapist? Cause you better be fucking seeing a therapist because you're going to just like repeat it or like the toxicity doesn't go away just because you're not talking to that person. But I think where it really heals itself is where both people are working on it. Mm-hmm. And so I bring this, this was a friend of mine because I've been another one of my very best friends. Mm-hmm. She and her adult son went through an estrangement. And now I didn't meet her until her oldest was in college. And to me, I saw the relationship between them. I'm like, oh, she's very supportive and they're very close. And I did see maybe she overstepped some boundaries. Like she was too permissive or too enmeshed, and I think she would also say too emotional about some things, right?
Was she being a parent manager?
She was being a parent manager and
not
a parent mentor. You got to Google that shit.
I know.
Get on the Google.
I have to find out who said it.
So she was being a parent manager, not a parent mentor. And anyway, they ended up not talking for 5 years. And it wrecked.
I can only imagine.
It was that awful. It was that she cried to me, probably not clown tears, sobbing from the gut for 5 years, 3 times a week. I would listen, and and I'm so empathetic too, and it broke my heart, and I couldn't really understand. And that's the other thing too is you can't understand someone else's hurt child.
No.
So her son who, I was very angry at him in the beginning because I was like, what the fuck? He didn't beat you like your dad or
right.
she didn't have substance abuse issues like my dad or
right.
So suck it up, but you can't his child got hurt.
Yes.
I don't know how it got hurt, but his child got hurt.
Right.
And then she, I think, was overcompensating. I'm just look, I'm practicing without a license.
Right.
But he had to take a step away. And in retrospect, I hate to say this, but I think it was the best thing for both of them because she cried for probably 3 years. And then I had her so I asked her to be on this podcast because I really wanted her to talk about it because she's done so much work on herself.
Right.
And they have reconnected. So happy-ish
great.
ending to the story, but there's still work that needs to be done.
Of course.
But I wanted her to be on, but she had talked to her son and he's it's that's a lot to share. It's new.
And that's exactly it. And she could say something that could implode
blow the whole thing up
that they've worked on.
Exactly.
So I get it.
So, but I did have her write some stuff to me. So, so she said, my perspective on estrangement from an adult child is that they are adults. And we can stay sad and confused, or we can start looking at ourselves as a person who has some work to be done on our mental health and our past traumas.
See, that's being the parent mentor.
That's being the parent mentor. And that's also shifting away, as a parent, you've got to, the child has to have their hurt. And you have to be ooh, what did I, you need to do work on yourself. Turn the mirror back on yourself. And look, maybe your kid's a dick. So there are times where your kid might be a dick. And then be you know what? You're also not the healthiest relationship for me. But as a parent, our job is to let our children be children.
Yes.
Even if they're fucking 30 or 40.
It's true.
That little hurt kid inside of them, we have to recognize that little hurt child and how we can help nurture and
yes,
wrap it up in a little blankie.
Well, and that's the thing. And just the blip is when I reflect back to when Dale was in the hospital and I came home and Brooklyn's I'm here for you. And I'm you're my daughter, not my, I can't remember what I said now, but I felt bad because I was my mom was so codependent on me. I don't want her to feel I'm codependent on her.
Exactly. Because it's breaking the cycle. So what she said is, instead of looking for a cure to make your child come back, because she had like joined all these like parenting groups on like socials about like, parent estrangement. And like all these parents are like, they're looking to externally, like, how can I like, what can I do to like make, like fix my child or make them come back? And it's like, take a beat. You actually need to do the work on yourself.
Right.
So, she wrote this. I spent years making myself miserable trying to get an answer to why. What could I have done to deserve this? She said, then a good friend, that'd be me, said something to me after listening to me cry and be depressed for years. And I basically said to her, you can stay in bed in the fetal position, or you can get up and you can enjoy the rest of the life that you have with a hole in your heart. Like, and it's still like, that is sucky. Like that second part isn't awesome, but like, you've got to get up, do the work on yourself and enjoy the life that you have and move forward. So she said, hard to hear, but she's right. That's me. She said, I was right. So she said, a good therapist is crucial. And we talk about therapy a lot. Like you need, if you meet with one therapist and you don't click with them, it's like dating. Go find the next one. Like find someone who you feel like you are like vibing with and that you are trusting what they are saying.
And it's not about fixing you, but working on things that can make you feel better, right? Because it's not necessarily a fix. Like this is what you do to fix it. It's you have to find a way to make your self-worth feel better.
Here's the thing. If you've hurt your child as a parent, chances are you were hurt as a child.
Yes.
And that's what you need to be focused on. So she said, like, it wasn't about her estrangement, the work she did with her therapist. It was about her lack of tools to deal with life in general. And so she learned how to deal with the parts of herself that she could only work on. She said, I accepted the fact that I may never see my adult child again. So I think that's a big one.
Oh, that acceptance part must have been like, I probably would have had to journal through a whole notebook to get through that one.
It was devastating. And I think as much as she's saying that she did that.
Because that's grief.
It was grief.
You're grieving for what what you expected to have in your life.
And it's just like a death.
Yes.
And you grieve that. But at the same time, it's like you have to let that fantasy go. Ugh. It was awful.
No, that makes me want to cry.
It was awful. No, and I cried with her and it was so awful. But it was, so she said she had, in addition, I attended Al-Anon as another family member who my love was deep in addiction. And the tools I learned from both therapy and from the Al-Anon, that was about, we have no control over others' choices and others' opinions of us. And like she said, don't get me wrong, I don't accept these facts at first. I got mad. And that didn't help anything. Being a victim somehow allowed me not to take responsibility for myself. And that is an ugly and embarrassing fact. So that, like, my parents are never going, like, my mother is like, I'm sorry, I should have like done better. My dad is never going to say he is sorry. And I have said to my brother time and again, I'm like, do not wait for dad to say he's sorry. He's never going to say he's sorry. Right. But guess what? Him saying he's sorry will not get you what you think it's going to get you.
No.
It doesn't, and your happiness can't be dependent on whether or not someone else does or doesn't do something. That's insanity.
Yeah. No,
so like true. You have to just like, as an adult child, let it go. But as a parent, you also have to let go that like what you do to work on yourself may or may not ever like work to bring you and your child together. So she said, after 5 years of estrangement, my adult child and I reconnected. And the good news is that it's because I worked on my issues. And I was able to listen to him without feeling defensive. It was an exhausting and beautifully hard conversation that they had where they finally reconnected. They continue to work on their relationship. It's slow. We're honoring each other's needs. We're consistently checking in with each other. And anyway, so it's the point is like, it's about boundaries. It's about, as a parent, recognizing the hurt that you may have inadvertently caused and you didn't even mean to. And it's about giving that child space. It's about acknowledging what that you may have hurt in that child. Like, I'm sure I've like fucked up so many things with my children. But like your mother, you're able to like get past it because your mom is like, yeah, flawed. here I am.
Yeah.
I'm still like, I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm like, and she might have not have like necessarily done the work. But if
she didn't have time for therapy,
she did not have time, treasure, or
she didn't even drink. I don't know how she did it. I swear to God.
I would have been such an alcoholic if I were your mother.
I don't know how she did it.
I don't know. So I just want to say there's hope if there is estrangement.
Yep.
And if you have young kids, like, look, don't, you are going to have like bumps in the road.
You are going to sound like your mother.
You are going to sound like your mother. You're not going to be able to help it. It's just like we internalize it all. But there's hope, right? And it's not about trying to fix that other person.
No.
You have to fix yourself. And then once you have fixed yourself in some regard, then you invite that other person back in. And then you can do some work together.
And you just have to listen.
That's a good one.
You just have to listen.
Is that it? Mm-hmm. You have to, and you know what? People just want to feel like they're heard and respected.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Right?
When like everybody's trying to get a word in and no one's getting anywhere, you just have to stop. And I shut down. That's one of my flaws. I just shut down. And then, but I listen and we figure it out.
Is that it?
There's the advice. But figure it out.
Don't shut down.
Just listen to each other.
Yes.
Write each other a note.
And you know what? That actually is helpful. And your therapist had told you to do that.
Yes.
Write a letter. You don't have to send it, but just like get it out. Get it out of you.
Yes.
Like it's like
do 5 years of that. Just write every day. What it would be.
You wrote for 5 years?
No, I'm saying if I was in your friend's situation.
No, for 5 years.
Yeah,
that was hard.
I couldn't even imagine. And so I'm proud of her for being so strong and for not giving up. But it wasn't persistence. It was just letting time.
You know what else it was?
Happen.
It was standing there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I tell people. Like, when there's estrangement, I'm like, you just, as the parent, keep showing up. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to push yourself on them, but like, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm doing the work. I'm here.
Right.
I love you. And it might not ever fix itself, but like, that's on us.
Yes.
Like, we're the adults.
We are the adults.
Right? Okay.
I'm going to have to go see a therapist again after this. This is therapy.
You are welcome. All right, let's do
therapy.
A fun one next time. This was hard.
This was a hard one. It is.
This is a
and
hard
there's
one.
still not like,
there's not a clear-cut answer. Like,
no, there isn't.
It's messy.
This is how my relationship ended with my father. We'll wrap it up with this.
It's not funny.
It is not good. So like, he was just like, when he had the car accident, he stayed with us just for a little clip and then he was gone again.
And you were like, bye.
And then he showed back up in my life when I was 21 years old and was like, hey, how are you doing? He actually engaged with my brothers and sisters. And I sent him a Father's Day card and it got returned. And I'm like, and I had been talking to him maybe a year. Maybe it's been a year at this point. But I was like,
you're like,
okay.
all right, maybe this is, all right, maybe we're going to.
Card got returned, called, left a message, called, left a message, called, left a message.
He was like, bye, Kathleen.
I didn't hear from him for 10 years.
And then he's like, hey, what's up?
Then he calls one day out of the blue on Christmas Day like.
By the way, this is what not to do.
Yeah. He calls me on Christmas Day like, hey, your mom gave me your phone number. I was like, what? And he's like, how are you? He's like, I hear you're married. You have a baby. You have a kid. And I was like, I want nothing to do with him. Like nothing. I was so furious with my mother. And I was like, you guys can have a relationship with him. I want nothing to do with him because everything that he is like, coming back to me, my husband is too good for this. My family is too good for this. I am not going to subject my husband and my kid to this at all.
So that's interesting. So there might be like an inflection point where you're like, I've given you all the chances I'm going to give you. And then you're done.
Yes.
Okay. So you were done.
And then
and it's motherfucking Christmas.
I know. And then he asked me to send him a picture of us, and I never did. And then he died.
You should have sent him a picture of your middle finger.
I should have.
Merry Christmas.
God. And then he died, and I was like, well, shit. All he wanted was a picture.
No.
That's the epiphany.
No. And by the way, you are, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you're absolved of that bullshit. Like and that. No.
Yeah.
This is a man who beat you.
I know.
To the point where you had black and blues and some girl in middle school, like, or grade
No, it
school.
was grade school, yeah.
Yeah, like, ratted
my
you.
bully.
Her bully was so freaked out by all the bruises on your body that they told the teacher.
She wanted to go on record that it wasn't her that did it, apparently.
And that is some survival instinct shit right there. Like, she was like, that was not me.
Exactly.
That was somebody else. So anyway, the point is, this is not a man that deserved redemption.
Right.
So that he died miserable and alone,
Right.
I'm okay with. But you know what? If you're my friend and you like worked on yourself and you were like, I own this and I'm not a victim and I'm going to try to fix it and I'm going to recognize the hurt in you, like you deserve some redemption.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, 100%.
And also, like, by the way, I'm not telling, like, her son has to figure that out for himself. And her son has to make the calls that are best for him. And he has little kids now. So for his family, I get it. This is not prescriptive. He might be like, okay, I'm connecting, then I'm going to back off a little, whatever. Like, just because, but at least if someone's trying.
Yes, that's
if they're
important.
doing the work and they're trying.
I love your friend.
I do too.
I know her too, and I love her.
No,
She's
and
a
she
good
went
person.
through it.
Yeah, I can't.
And she did the work, and she looked at herself and was like, you know what?
Yep.
And I actually said to her, it was after like she reconciled with her son, and this was hard because I was the one who said the hard thing, like, get out of the fetal position, live the rest of your life with a hole in your heart, but like, live your life.
Yep.
This is it.
Yes.
I said to her, I'm like, I hate to say this because it was awful as one of your best friends watching you go through this.
Oh, gosh.
Like, it was awful, but like, it was probably one of the best things that happened to you because it forced you to become a more healed person.
Yes. Very true.
Which is also awful.
Right.
Right. But like that you have to lose that 5 years. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do something on like, what should we do? Should we do something fun next time? Let's do
Yes.
something like super fun.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to you as like the fun mom podcasters. We are not going to do this like heavy shit next time. This is a lot.
It is
But
a
I
lot.
also think I think it's important because there are a lot of rifts in families, and it's okay to put a boundary forever, put a boundary for a little time, but like whatever you're doing, you both have to do the work.
Yes.
And that other person, whether or not you're punishing them, is not going to fix it in you.
No.
So
Nope, it's true.
let's not even do a mom hack.
Oh, wait. I have one mom hack that we can share together because I thought of this.
I have a mom hack too, actually.
Is it going to be? It's probably the same one.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Well, maybe it is. You go first.
Both of our kids are heading off to school, and so I came across on social media.
This is a good one.
And I'm sure you've all seen it before. Also,
No, because
where
I
it says,
hadn't.
Oh, it's called open when, like open when you're feeling sad.
Open when.
Open when, like open when you are happy, or open when you passed your first exam, or open when you're missing
need money,
home,
or
you need a sweet treat.
My kids
and
will
then
open that
you
all the
have,
time.
I know, right? They're like, which ones have the money? You're like Cornholio. Anyway, but they'll find it. Send gift cards, write love letters. I love you put.
I put little
confetti,
quotes, and I put I put poems I've saved.
Yes.
Like I wrote words of wisdom.
Can they read what you wrote, Nicole?
No, probably not. I have the worst fucking
Well, just tell them to call me and send me a picture, and I'll read it for
I'll
them.
be like, call Kathleen.
Yes.
She'll translate.
She has Dr.
So anyway,
Scribble.
so those are great. You can give them to kids who are moving out.
Yes.
But you can also I think you can give them to kids who are in your house.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, so here, my mom hack is like super bougie. But it's also kind of sweet. So probably about like a month ago, my very dear friend's daughter texted me and she was like, hey, I know this is kind of weird. And I've known her forever.
Oh, I love this.
I've known her forever.
Yeah.
I did her prom makeup. Like
Yes.
I've gone to her with doctor's appointments.
Were you glamour shots?
I channeled my inner glamour shots and I did like amazing. She looked gorgeous. Anyway, she's adult and she is working and she's like, hey, I've been like, I run short a little every month on money. And I'm just wondering if you need help with anything. I know it's kind of weird or out.
No,
but girl,
it's
I have been traveling so
good.
much.
Yes.
I was like, it was like, is it odd or is it God?
Yes.
And I was like, I actually do. So I have been using her to like, I had her get new bath towels for me. I had her like schedule carpet
Your
cleaning
personal
once the kids have moved.
assistant. That's amazing.
And y'all, it has like made all the difference in my life. And she's amazing. So all I'm saying is that like, if you, as a working mom, if you're doing a million different things and you're like maybe find a friend's kid
and
who you've known forever.
And sometimes your kids have the time if they're still at home also.
Sometimes your kids. So
Yes.
just like task them with like, I'm going to pay you like $20 an hour or whatever it is, $25 an hour to like run around and do that. I need you to get keys made. I need you to like, she picked up samples for countertops for me, like just stuff like I don't have time to do that, and it's basic. Like I'm not looking for like anyway. So
that's great.
That's been amazing. So what's your other one good thing?
Oh gosh. I guess they're just finally getting to the point where my daughter's heading off to college. And the one not so good thing is that she has found zero time to hang out with us. She's visiting with all of her friends because everybody's getting ready to leave again. Yeah. So she has not been around at all, but hopefully we'll have time to have dinner this weekend and hang out. And then we'll pack them in, send them out.
Let me begin.
Next week.
So my one good thing is I went to the most beautiful wedding for my friends this last weekend in Idlewild, California, which you haven't been there, like go tomorrow.
And it's spelled interesting because it sounds like you say Ottawa, but it's Idlewild.
Idlewild.
Yes.
Idlewild.
ID.
Maybe that's the back east of me just being like, I'm trying to get through it.
Ottawa.
No, it's Idlewild. Idlewild. And it was such a beautiful, it was a second marriage. It was such a beautiful ceremony. And I wake up every morning with anxiety, like pit in my stomach. Like I don't know.
That's
like,
so sad. We got a podcast about this.
I know. And, but I was lying in bed and I'm like, just remember how you felt this weekend and how great it was and how like chill and like what the vibe was. And I channeled that and I immediately felt better. I know. So that's like one of my new happy places is like thinking about that wedding and like, cause it was a second marriage and they did it very unconventionally, not like super, but in like this just, it
Beautiful.
wasn't like, cause
I saw the pictures. They were beautiful.
But we've all been to weddings where it's like, everything must execute, like literally, the child who was supposed to have the rings forgot the rings. So they're like, we're just going to pause. And then someone went up to try to find them and they couldn't find them. And it wasn't.
I hope they found the rings.
They found the rings. But it wasn't like, oh my God. It was just like, it was like fun and like part of the whole deal. It was so awesome. Cute. So anyway, Erin and Steele, congratulations on your wedding. And thank you for being my new happy place. And that's it. So okay, this is a lot. Let's like maybe the next 5. Let's do something fun because I don't know that I can keep doing it. Like this is a lot.
That was a lot.
I got to keep drinking.
Yeah.
Well,
it is our Friday, by the way, so we are allowed to enjoy some Prosecco.
Okay, and thank you to our studio folks who have been here way past like closing time.
So thank you for that.
So cheers. And Preston hold. You didn't hold.
I didn't hold.
You didn't hug me.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Salud. Thanks, everyone.